Oh, hey! Thanks for joining us on today's episode of the Partially Cooked Podcast. Before we get going, we wanted to make a special shout out for our newest sponsor, Professional Computer Services out of Conway, Arkansas. Whether you're a big business or a new budding mom and pop shop, they will help you navigate the wild world of networking. They'll help you set up security systems, get you a Wi-Fi network set up, help you with remote desktops. They'll even be available for you. They'll even be available for you to call if you just need someone to tell you to turn it on and back off again and all those frustrating moments. So give Bo and Holly a call at Professional Computer Services in Conway. They are some of the best, and we're so thankful that they joined us.
Absolutely. And also a big shout out to our longest running sponsor, Napolds Properties. They have a great office space for lease in downtown Argenta where we do the Partially Cooked Roast Battle. We made this little commercial for them, and so you can check that out. We'll play it right before the episode. And we're also going to be making a commercial for PCSI, so be on the lookout for that in the future. But thank you so much for watching, and enjoy the episode. Does your office feel like you're working out of a shoebox? Does your workspace feel as cramped as a sardine can? Are you juggling work and clutter, literally? You don't have to take drastic measures. With Napolds Properties, space is no longer an issue. Check out this beautiful office space they have available right now in the Argenta Arts District in downtown North Little Rock. Imagine hosting meetings in a room that inspires. Now imagine enjoying the view while closing your next big deal. At Napolds Properties, success has room to stretch out. Visit nabprop.com today. What's up, Sam Price? Welcome to the Partially Cooked Podcast, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate it.
Dude, thank you for doing this, man. For anybody watching for the first time that doesn't know what the show is, every month we bring on 5 comedians, interview them like this, get to know them a little bit, try to dig up some embarrassing dirt from their past, and then use that material for a no-holds-barred roast battle that we do at the first of the month at the joint here in North Little Rock. So we can't thank you enough, Sam, for doing this with us.
Yeah, no, thanks again for having me. I'm a big fan of the show, man. I watch it like every month. Literally, even before EJ and Chase were on it, I've been watching it for a minute.
Fuck yeah, man. I'm happy to hear that.
Yeah, man. Well,
I like supporting guys that are doing good stuff, man. Like, it's a good concept, and y'all execute it very well. It's been interesting, like, watching it from the beginning to, like, what y'all got now. I remember when y'all used to do, like, 1, 2, 3, let them cook, and the crowd just couldn't get it.
No, they couldn't.
Just could not get together on that.
No, they couldn't. We had to simplify it down, get one syllable. The crowd can get together on one syllable. Don't have to worry about them being offbeat or anything.
Yeah. But no, it's fun. It's a fun show. I'm glad to be a part of it, man.
Well, we're really glad you came, man. We've been, I've been keeping up with you for a while. Even during COVID, you were working, making stuff happen for a long time, man. Like producing content. So we're really thankful to have comics like you, professionals that are willing to do this and show up, man. It's great.
Yeah, really I appreciate it.
How long have you been doing stand-up, Sam?
Friday will be 6 years.
Ooh.
February 21st will be 6 years.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
6 years.
Appreciate it.
Well, you've done a lot in 6 years, man. How old are you?
31. I'll be 32 this year.
Okay, 31. All right.
It don't feel like I've done a lot, but I hear you. I feel you. When I look back on it, like I was, what was I doing the other day? I was in a spreadsheet, like trying to put together all the shows that I did last year, and I was looking at it, and I was like, man, I did quite a bit. I did a little bit.
Hell yeah.
Right. It's nice to do that. It's important to like make sure that you quantify all the work you've done, because as a comic or as any kind of like 1099 worker, like independent contractor, it's hard to keep up with the work you've done, and that like you feel like you don't do much, because you don't have a clock in, clock out system. So like being able to actually go back and see the time and like, I don't know if you're like me, but like then that also quantifies the driving time. So you're like, I'm working 30 hours a week, some of these stupid shows, like.
One thing I like to do is I'll keep my pens, like when a pen runs out of ink, I'll keep that tube and I keep them on my bookshelf as like a little reminder, like this is how much I've written. Like I've got just empty pens.
That's crazy. That's a lot. I've never heard that.
I've never heard of that either. I think you're hoarding, but that is
I was
cool.
gonna say, maybe
It's
just a
cool
hoarder.
to me.
One thing Adam Hogg does, he's a comic here in Little Rock, is he has a color-coded spreadsheet for his jokes. So he knows like what night he did it and what jokes he told that night. So he can like go when he comes up next week, he can make sure he doesn't repeat jokes because he's trying to make. He's like working on like a 10-minute set. He's working on a longer set.
Nice.
So it helps him like keep code on that. So
Yeah,
it's like a
that's
big
cool.
sign of a professional when you're keeping a spreadsheet of that stuff.
Sam, you said you're 31. What do you think the dumbest thing you did in your 20s was?
The dumbest thing I did in my 20s, I got married one time. That was
That's fair.
that wasn't the best idea.
Yeah.
Um,
How old
I
were
mean,
you
it
when you
wasn't
got
the
married?
time. Everything was fine. I was like 24. No, I was 20 when I got married. I was 24 when I got divorced.
Wow.
Oh, damn. That's young, man.
Your brain wasn't
Yeah.
even fully developed yet at 24.
Nope. No, it was not. And that's what led to the divorce.
Man. Are you still married? So you're not married now?
No, sir.
Never
No,
again.
sir.
Are you ever again plans to ever do it again or no? You're going to stay single as long as you can?
Not currently. I mean, I have a partner. I have a lady friend, but neither of us really like believe in marriage anymore. Like both of us are like, marriage is kind of, who needs a state-sponsored relationship? Like, what is that? Yeah. So probably not, but I don't never say never, you know?
I hear you. What do you think, like, what was the story or the short version of what happened with that relationship? Like, why did y'all get divorced?
Well, I mean, it was just like, it's not really, there's nothing really juicy there. It was just irreconcilable differences. We kind of were two different people, and we were both pretty young and kind of growing up.
Mm-hmm.
And then we were figuring out the other things that we liked and we were interested in. And the more we figured that out, the less we had in common.
I got you.
So, yeah, we just kind of ended up, it just didn't really work out.
And you hadn't
stopped
started
talking for a
stand-up
while.
at that point, correct?
No, I didn't start stand up until after we separated. That's like literally, honestly, our separation is what like caused me to start doing a bunch of stuff. Cause my life was dedicated to this other person, and I had so much time that I was like, oh, I need to make sure she's happy. I need to make sure the kid's happy. I got to go to work. I got to do all this. And then when she left, there's like a void there. And I'm like, all right, well, what other things am I interested in? What else can I do to fill this time in this space? So I started dabbling in music, dabbling in stand up. I was doing poetry. I've done a bunch of junk. Like the next year or two after that, I got into a bunch of stuff. But stand up is the one that stuck, man. I mean, I've been a huge comedy fan my whole life, so it made sense to me.
Hell yeah.
Who are some of
I've
your
done
favorite
dumber things in my 20s, though. I was just being funny about the marriage thing. Let me see.
Yeah, no. If you got something even better, because I mean, a lot of them are. You know, I moved in with a woman. I moved in with a man. You know, that's typically the thing.
Yeah, I would say, well, I got like a couple drug stories. I tried a bunch of, or not a bunch. I don't want to say a bunch. Tried a few drugs in my 20s, and I had some interesting experiences with those. I think it was the first time. The first time I ever did acid, I tried to drive on the highway, and it split into 8 lanes. Like my brain just split the highway into 8 different lanes, and I was like, I gotta pull over. This is not it.
Yeah, some good acid.
Yeah, I was lucky to be alive, man. And there was like, it's funny too, because I was like pulling off the highway, and there's a little curve that you got to go around on the off ramp, and I was on it. And it felt like it went forever. Like I was like, dude, I've been driving for 2 hours on the same off ramp. In reality, it had only been like 2 minutes, and I was only going like 5 miles an hour. So I was just like, oh my God, dude, this is never going to end. I'm stuck here. It freaked me out. That was weird.
Dude, psychedelics in vehicles freak me the fuck out. I can't do psychedelics and be in a vehicle. Like, I've been in enough wrecks where I'm already a little traumatized just sober that if I'm on anything and I get in a vehicle, I start freaking the fuck out.
Oh yeah, no. I mean,
I learned the hard way.
If I'm riding, it's fine, especially around Christmas time on LSD. My God, what a magical
All the
time.
lights.
Oh my God.
One time I was tripping and I was having like a bad trip, but I was at this house where when I went outside, there was this turquoise colored
Yo.
Ford F-150.
Oh, okay. Sorry, just skipped a little bit.
I lost you. We lose you.
No, it just skipped a little bit on my end.
I was tripping acid, and this Ford F-150 kept like calming me down. So anytime I would start freaking out, I would go and look at this Ford F-150 and be like, "That's a reliable brand right there." I would like calm down. It was
What color was it?
it was like a bright turquoise color, like really bright.
Oh, yeah, that blue.
Yeah, it was nice. I was like, "Hell yeah, dude! That's gonna get me out of here if I get stuck. Like I'm good." It was good.
All right, Sam. We talked a little bit about your divorce. What is the most disastrous date you've ever been on?
Disastrous date. I don't know. I don't think I've ever had any really bad dates, man.
Just smooth as butter, he says. Smooth as butter.
I've had bad run-ins. I don't know if I've had strange. Oh no, I'm not saying that one.
Oh man,
I've
that's
had some strange sexual experiences, but that's I don't want to give the roasters too much ammo on that one.
What's the strangest sexual experience you've ever had?
I just said I wasn't going to say this.
That's the point of the show. You said you watched it.
I was at a this will be like the first time this information is public. That's hilarious. I was working at a place once, and there was this girl who kept messaging me on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
And there was one night where she just kind of put it out there. She was like, "Hey, I wanna come, do whatever."
Yeah.
And I was like, And during the night, I was like, "This sounds kind of interesting. I might be interested in something like this." But like the night ended up ending and nothing happened. So I had to go to work the next morning to do inventory. And she was like in the morning, because she was like, "I gotta leave today, so if we're gonna," and I was like, "Well, I gotta go to work." And she was like, "Where do you work?" And so I went and parked behind my job, and she came and parked beside me.
Oh.
And yeah, she got out of her car, and it wasn't until she got into my car that I realized that this was a trans woman.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. Lots of filtered pictures, and I was like, man, I should have known. I should have did more investigating on this one. It was It was too easy here. It was too easy. Yeah, and I'm a people pleaser. I don't like disappointing anybody. So something happened, but she left after that.
I got you. Okay.
It just wasn't fun.
Way to be a champion. Way to be a champion. You stuck it out. Probably literally.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't want her to feel bad or whatever. The problem is, I feel like you only get the "I didn't know it was a woman" excuse once.
Yeah.
And the experience wasn't good. So like, I don't get the if I do it again, they're like, "All right, buddy, we see what you like."
Yeah, that's a pattern. Oh.
Yeah. So I was upset that it sucked. I was like, man, no, you only get one.
Mm-hmm.
You hope it's gonna be good.
Right.
At least you wanna have a good experience. But I was like, I was weirded out. It was yeah.
That was a weird day at
that
work,
had to do with it though. It's just because I was weird. I was like weird about it, and it was weird to me. So it didn't go smooth.
Okay. That's a good answer. Thank you for telling us, Sam. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I already see all of the roast jokes coming at me now. Like that's every round. I'm like, so I heard. All right.
You just improved the show immensely.
So this kind of leads into this question. This is something we ask every comic that comes on the show, and it usually gets really good answers. Sam, what is your most bigoted opinion?
My most bigoted. Really, it's hard to choose, man. I got a few.
Top three. Give us a top three.
Well, I'm gonna give you my top one. This is funny too. I was talking to EJ about this the other day. So there's this idea that let me see, how would I phrase this? I'm trying to figure out how to put this so that like I don't get canceled when this comes out, but it actually makes sense.
Yeah.
There's this thing with like, let's say black people. Like there's a stereotype that all black people are athletic or something like that, you know? Like that we're like genetically predisposed. We got an extra bone or extra muscle, whatever it is, our extra twitch muscles. And that's considered like a bad, like you're not supposed to say that.
Right.
People are like, that's racist. You're not supposed to say that, whatever. I think it makes sense to me only because, hear me out, that makes sense. Back in slavery times, you're not keeping slaves that aren't athletic. Like it's almost a form of eugenics. Like you go generation after generation after generation after generation, making sure you have the strongest, fastest slaves. I mean, it makes sense to me that eventually those kids are going to have those genes of the strong, fast. So I don't think that's crazy. I say that because in the same way that people think black people are like genetically predisposed to racism, I think white people could be genetically predisposed to sociopathy. Like I think it's easier for white people to be sociopaths than it is any other race because of the generations and generations and generations of mental trauma.
Okay.
Of conquering this place over here and colonizing this place over here and making slaves out of these people, making slaves out of these people, making slaves out of these people. Mentally, I think there's something being passed down there. I think I'm not saying all white people are sociopaths. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying I think it's easier for a white person to become a sociopath.
Yeah, it makes sense to me.
So black people are GMOs and white people, it's easier for them to be sociopaths.
Yeah.
That's a great answer, man. Great answer.
Those are my two most bigoted opinions.
Descendants of crusaders and slave wranglers. Yeah, man. They got the need to kill. Like, all right, if I'm going to do it, I might as well, plan it out and look at my neighbors, see when they leave their house. Not that I've thought about it, but yeah, no, I get what you're saying.
Not that I thought about it. What time is it? 6:15. I gotta get out of here. I gotta go kill some people.
Linda's about to take her trash out.
My neighbor's coming home in 15 minutes.
Right. Sam, what's the dumbest purchase you've ever made?
Oof. Let me see. Dumbest purchase. I don't know. I spend a lot of money on like drugs and alcohol. That don't feel too smart.
Yeah.
But
I feel that.
let me see. I don't know. I don't know. I don't really think in those terms, man. Like if there's something that I buy, I don't usually regret it. Like I think about it a lot before I buy it.
Okay.
I'll be like, all right, let me debate how I should I spend this money on this or could I get another ounce of weed? Do I?
Yeah. Have you ever bought something and had to like rationalize it to your significant other, like more than you feel was necessary? They don't mess with you like that.
No, not really. It's that thing too though. It's like if I'm going to get it and you need a reason why, I'll let you know the reason why before I get it. Right. Like I'll be like, all right, this is why I think it's a good idea to spend money on this. And then generally they're like, yeah, that makes sense. Or they're like, it's your money. Do what you want.
Right. At the end of the day, it's your money, so you can spend it however you want to.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I don't think I'm sure I've made plenty of dumb purchases, but I don't think anything's been like significant. Like I haven't spent a ton of money on something and been like, oh God, why did I do that?
Yeah.
I've blown money way quicker than I should have, buying a lot of little things that I didn't necessarily need.
Yeah, I think we've all been there.
Oh yeah. It's always like my biggest purchase regrets are always like at the end of a fun experience. When I have to pay the bill, it's like, all right, I've had a lot to drink, bought some food for everybody, time to pay the bill. Okay, I should have not done this. I went to a club. We went to a club for open mic. I won't say the name of it, but 3 beers was $30, and I was like, I hate life. What am I doing? Here? What am I doing here? It's open mic night. You're taking advantage of alcoholics.
Yeah, and then you had to spend money and gas to get there.
Right.
No, goodness. Yeah,
30
you're in the
bucks.
hole.
That's a 30 pack. You could go buy a 30 pack for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So they get you. You're already in the club.
Right. And it's so bad you need to drink. So
Sam, what's the worst job you've ever been fired from and why?
Ooh, I've only been fired. I've been fired once. I was laid off. I worked in a factory. I was laid off a couple times. I got fired from McDonald's when I was like 17. But they like called me back a week later and asked me to come back to work. But
we made a mistake.
yeah. I got fired because, it was this whole thing with like the management staff I was working. I came into work and I didn't have a bad attitude, but they gave me one because the manager, like, one of them was off talking to an employee. And like we were getting busy, and one manager's off talking to an employee, not really caring about what's going on, and the other one's in the window talking to a customer, and she's just like holding up the entire drive-through line, just talking to one of her friends. And I was like, that was supposed to be my position. Like I was supposed to come to the window, and I'm like, can you move? Like, can you get out of the window? So she gets upset and goes and talks to the other manager and tells him that I told her to shut up and move and she's a fat bee and all this type of stuff. And I was like, I didn't say any of that. I said none of that. I just asked you to get out of my window. Yeah, so I ended up getting fired. And then the store manager called me back a week later and was like, hey, I actually fired both of them because they were doing some stuff. Can you come back?
Did you go back?
Go back.
Yeah, I went back at the
Nice.
time. I worked at McDonald's for a long time, man.
Was that one of your first jobs?
Yeah, McDonald's was my first job, and then I worked at like probably like 6 McDonald's, but it was like I was living in another area, so I started working at different McDonald's, and then like they would just, whenever I would get promoted, they would like move me around stores and stuff. That's actually, I went to Chicago in 2019 for like their store manager training because you have to go to their world headquarters in Chicago for a week.
Oh wow, cool.
And that was really cool. That was a dope experience. I wish I would have been doing stand up at that time. Like
Right.
I wasn't like into it like I am now. I had done it maybe 4 times. Like I had been on stage maybe 4 times, and I didn't realize like how huge Chicago's stand-up scene was.
Right.
And I really wasn't, at that point, I wasn't really interested in it like that. It was just like a hobby, you know. We did karaoke when I was up there. We were doing karaoke and drinking.
Yeah. Damn, she said you called her a fat bitch, like, and you never said, like, that sounds like she was just projecting,
Right.
a little bit.
Said I was taking up the whole window.
He said I was taking.
It's not even that big a window, I don't think.
Yeah, I don't know what her problem was.
Have you always lived in the Fort Smith area, or did you move there from somewhere else?
I lived in, I was born in Fort Smith. I lived here until I got out of 6th grade, the summer of, like, between my 6th grade year and my 7th grade year. We moved to Midwest City, Oklahoma, right outside of Oklahoma City.
Okay.
And we lived there until my senior year. And then, like, midway through my senior year, I want to say, like, March or something of my graduating year, I moved back to Fort Smith.
Oh,
and
wow.
I've been in here ever since.
What high school did you graduate from? North Side or South Side?
North Side.
All right. I don't really know the difference. I remember South Side was. Are they still the Rebels?
No, they're the Mavericks now.
Oh wow, I thought you were gonna say the Mexicans.
Yeah, I really thought you were about to say the Mexicans.
No,
I was like, damn. How'd you like go from the Rebels to being a more racist like fucking mascot?
Just man, there's a lot of Latinos in Fort Smith right now. So
The Mexicans are on North Side. They go to North Side.
yeah.
South Side's the white kids. South Side was actually, they started South Side as a school in the, like, I think it was, we used to have a high school called Lincoln High School. Then we had Fort Smith Public School, which was what became North Side. Fort Smith High School became North Side. When they integrated them, they closed Lincoln High School and they made Fort Smith High School the only high school for all of the kids. And then they started South Side for the white kids. Like, they started a new school to move further away from the segregated school.
They resegregated themselves.
They're like, yeah, this one's desegregated, but this one's for the white kids. Like, blacks, Mexicans, Asians, you guys can go here.
Y'all can use these water fountains now. Hell yeah. But we built a bunch that y'all don't know about. It's ridiculous, man. Fort Smith. God.
Sam, what's the cringiest thing you've ever done to get someone to notice you?
Comedy? What do you mean?
Yeah.
Stand up?
Always the answer.
We got to come up with a better way to ask that because the answer is always stand up.
Yeah.
It's always stand up.
Besides stand up, have you ever made a fool?
Let's see. I'm trying to think back on like my childhood. I know I did a bunch of goofy stuff. Well, I wasn't good with girls growing up, so I tried a lot of different stupid things. Let me see. I wrote. I remember when I first moved to Midwest City, Oklahoma. MySpace was still big. Mm-hmm. We still had MySpace, and there was this girl that I had a crush on the whole time I was in elementary school. And so, like, I found her on MySpace when we got to Oklahoma, and I like messaged her, and I was like, "Hey, just so you know," and she was like, "Oh God, no." That was her response. She said, "Oh God, no." Oh, no. And I was like, "Okay, never talking to you again."
Removed from top friends immediately.
Yeah, I took her out of my top 8 and everything.
Yeah, you always think the worst they can say is no, but "oh God, no" is objectively worse.
Yeah, that hurt. She was like appealing to a higher authority. She was like, "Oh God, this is what you have for me, this guy."
If your exes wrote a 1-star review of you, what would it say?
Talks too much. Thinks he's funny.
Is leave you on red on there? Because I've experienced that.
I don't do that with girls. I reach out to girls first.
Yeah. I don't have anything you want. You've learned that firsthand.
Yeah, talks too much, thinks he's funny. Let me see. I'm not argumentative, but I do think I'm right a lot, and I will tell you why.
Okay, that's a good answer. That's a really good answer. What's a conspiracy theory that you low-key believe?
Ooh, I mean, at this point, most of them aren't even conspiracy theories anymore, man.
Right.
Oh, what's one? 9/11 was an inside job. I think that's true.
Amen.
I think we have had contact with thing from another planet. I don't know what type of being that it is, or what all. I think there's some classified stuff on that. I definitely believe that aliens are real. I don't think we're the only intelligent life form in the universe.
If there's anybody out there that believes that we are the only intelligent species in the entire universe, I look at them like I look at a kid eating crayons. I'm like, oh, you poor soul. Like,
I think it was Francis Crick, the dude that discovered the double helix. On his deathbed, he was saying that to think, because he was like a devout Christian his whole life, but he was saying to think that something as complex as the human DNA genome, or whatever he said, came randomly, or is to say that a huge Boeing 747 jet randomly assembled itself in a junkyard. So maybe he was like anti-Christian, and he was like, no, there's a design out there, or there's something.
They found the double helix because of LSD.
Right.
Like they were doing LSD, and that's when they came up with that idea.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's a fun one to look up. I've actually
more people doing drugs, man.
Yeah, if you just wouldn't have drove, who knows what you could have discovered.
Right.
If I would have took one lane on the highway, one of the 8 lanes.
The lanes were becoming a double helix. Had to get Taco Bell.
What's an irrational habit you'll defend to your grave?
Oh, I won't defend it, but I do chew my nails, and I try to make myself stop. I don't know what it is. It's like a nervous habit or a tick or something. I don't know what it is, but I cannot stop. I can't stop doing it. I will catch myself doing it, and I'm like, why are you doing this? Why are you doing this to yourself? I chew my nails off. Like, it's bad.
Yeah.
It's bad. I won't defend it though. It's a horrible habit. It's a horrible habit.
Right. I when I was a kid, I used to chew on my nails until I think it was like 4th grade, and we had a science class where we all took like little like the little picks you use at a dentist, and we scraped under our fingernails and looked at them under a slide. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm done. And especially in 4th grade, like in 4th grade, you're washing your hands like what, maybe once a month, like when it gets real sticky. Like, and so I was like, oh God, that's gross. And ever since then, I quit.
Oh man.
I might need to do that then.
Yeah, look at the stuff under your nails under a microscope. You'll quit chewing on them.
Yeah. I hate it too because like that my kid's around all the time, and I'll catch him doing it every now and again. I'm like, stop, don't do that.
And then he sees you doing it. It's like, but you said I can't do this.
You're doing it. How you gonna tell me not to do it?
My son did it for a long time until I was finally like in public. I would always make him open the door. I'd be like, hey, go get the door and like hold it for your mom. And then like I was strategic about it. And then we'd be in the movie theater. He'd be biting his nails, and I'd be like, hey, you remember like when we were waiting in line, you saw all those people walking through the door. You basically licked every single one of their fingers. Every single one. Every time you put your hands in your mouth. I was like, have you washed your hands since you held the door open for mom? No. So you're licking everyone's hands. Look at this theater. It's full of people's hands you've licked. And he's
like, look at that guy's hands. Look at that guy's hands. That's what he's pointing out people. He's like, look at that guy. You want to lick his hands? That's gross.
It worked, I think.
Oh.
I don't know.
Sam, if you had to pick 4 comics to be on your comedy Mount Rushmore, who would it be?
Ooh, this is a good one because I was talking about this the other day with somebody. So for me, if I'm thinking for me, it's just me personally. And this is in terms of like whose comedy I have enjoyed the most, and also whose comedy I think has influenced me the most.
Yes.
Yeah.
As a person and as a comedian.
Yes.
Dave Chappelle, Kevin Hart, Patrice O'Neal, Bill Burr.
That's
a solid lineup.
Fantastic lineup.
Yeah.
That's those are like the biggest people I grew up on, and like I watched them all the time. I used to sneak and watch Patrice O'Neal because I wasn't supposed to be. I would sneak and watch Patrice like in the closet somewhere. But yeah, and then I added Bill Burr. Replaced a different name, but I added Bill Burr recently. I've been going back on his stuff, and like I didn't realize how much of his stand-up I watched growing up until I started going back, and I was like, oh, I know this bit. Oh, I know this bit. Oh, I know this bit. And it all still rings true. It all still resonates.
Yeah, he's been around a while.
Yeah.
You forget about it. And I love Kevin Hart too, man. Kevin Hart's one that like whenever Cat Williams had that shit about, Kevin Hart was an industry plant, I was like, but how is he so funny? I was like, he's so funny. Like everything he does is very, very funny. So like,
yeah, people be hating on Kevin Hart, man. I will say, like, I mean, I love Kevin. I think he's hilarious. I think he's funny even in his corny movies that he makes. I think those are funny too. People hate on Kevin Hart. I swear to God, dude, when I was leaving high school, like going into college, and I'm a Grown Little Man came out, and he had another one that came out. Literally, the only jokes that we were doing, we would just quote Kevin Hart all day, every day. Oh, he said she ain't got no nipples. I can't tell you how many times I heard that, dude.
Yeah. I think
all of his stand-up.
A lot of the hate gets thrown his way, just like when you have like a band that starts out and they're really, really good, and then they grow up and they become mainstream and part of pop culture and part of zeitgeist. They start getting hated on because of they're popular. Right. I think that happens with comics too, and I think that's a lot of what happens with Kevin, because if you go back and watch some of his old specials, like he's hilarious, dude.
Man, yeah,
he's so good. Very consistent. How did he get so short though? Like, did they need specific? Like, did that get bred into him? Did they need like him to be able to get into smaller areas? because that kind of
Oh,
goes
that's
against
right.
the bigoted
Yeah, I mean,
opinion.
not all of the genes are the same. Not all of the genes are the same, and we're a little while removed from that. You know, we've had time to multiply on our own.
Right.
We've had time to develop type 2 diabetes and heart. To get unhealthy.
Kevin heart disease. God damn, that's what JJ called Big Dre.
Yeah.
Kevin.
Oh, he's got Kevin heart disease.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I
Sam,
love JJ.
before we get out of here, do you have any shows or anything you'd like to hype up that you'd like the audience to know about?
Check out River Valley Comics on Facebook. As always, River Valley Comics putting on stuff in the River Valley area. We got a bunch going on. We also just recently started working with Next Stop Comedy. It's like a satellite comedy company, kind of like Don't Tell.
Yeah.
Where they like contract people and are working with them recently. And me and Edric, me and EJ are getting ready to go on tour actually. Next month. We're gonna kick off middle of next month, and then we'll be back here in May. So we're going to have about 2 months where we're just going to be on the road doing comedy. Workingpoorcomedytour.com.
Hell yeah.
You'll get all the information.
I love it, man.
Fuck yeah,
And we're
man.
going to be at Van Buren next week on the 20th.
Yeah. We'll be in Van Buren next week.
This week, it's this Thursday. So yeah, we'll be.
Oh, this week. It's Monday. This
Right,
week.
yeah. It came up
Thursday,
fast.
we'll be at the Vault. And then we have another show in town Saturday at Maddox in Fort Smith.
Check
Hell
out
yeah.
River Valley Comics on Facebook for all that stuff.
Yeah, we're mainly on Facebook, River Valley Comics. And then check out Working Poor for the stuff me and EJ are getting up to.
Hell yeah. Well, thank you so much, Sam. We appreciate the fuck out of you, and really
Yes,
looking
sir.
forward to your roast battle on the 6th, March 6th at the Joint in North Little Rock. Tickets will be in the description below, and doors open at 7. Show starts at 8. It's going to be a fun time.
It's gonna be wild,
Do
man.
y'all have the lineup yet? Do we know who all is going to be on it yet?
Yes, it's going to be you, Tyler Galvin, Tommy Wakefield, and Bryce Moore, and one more. Who's the 5th one?
Who is the 5th one? Was it Kyle Gilbert?
No, it's not. Oh, Kyle Kordsmeyer. That's it. Kyle Kordsmeyer.
Oh,
That's it.
Kordsmeyer.
Kyle Kordsmeyer.
Yes.
I knew it was a
That's
Kyle.
the only name I know out of all the names you said.
Yeah. But we'll have the others podcast.
No disrespect to those other guys.
Right. We'll have their podcast episodes up so you can check them out and get some hopefully good material to roast them. And we'll looking forward to it, man. See you on the 6th.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Thanks again, guys. Appreciate y'all having me.
Thanks for your
Absolutely.
time, Sam. Have a great night.
Peace.